This week we're going cover to cover on Murder Takes a Vacation by Laura Lippman. I'm Sarah Lyles.
And I'm Jamie Livingston, and we are so approachable. This was
Something.
It was another cozy read.
Yes.
So we have to start out with our 3 words. I feel like I've asked you to go first every time.
Yes, so you go first.
Let's see. What did I end up writing? I wrote meandering, scenic, and enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, good words. Mine are adventurous, insecurity, and entanglement.
Okay. I can see how those could play out.
Yeah. I will say at the end of this book, which is not normally like me, I felt very confused. The entanglement part was almost a little bit too entangled, if that makes sense to you, to where I was like, wait, what? Where? Who?
Right.
Yes.
It really reminded me of the Thursday Murder Club and how I told you I had already read the book and I still couldn't tell you who did it, how they did it, who actually died. Like, I was so confused by everything.
Yes.
So this book kind of took me there as well.
Yes. I actually, finished the end audiobook, went back and looked at the end, read it, and then again re-listened to it, and I still feel confused.
Wow.
I was like, wait, let me go back through. Maybe it was just like the season of my life right now with chaos and holidays and all the things, but I definitely felt like this book confused me, and not like okay, who did it? Oh, that was intense of okay, wait, who was here? So this conversation is definitely going to help me also understand some of the entanglement, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of characters kind of floating in and out.
Yes.
And so you had to kind of figure out who was important and who wasn't. And I don't know that you could.
Right.
Necessarily. But we can start with Muriel Blossom.
Yes.
What did you think about our leading lady?
Mrs. Blossom, shall we say. I liked her. I mean, she was very good at what she played. You know, this elderly lady that had all these great things. She was a very lucky person, let me just say. Luck was on her side at every turn. And also unluck, but at the same time, a lot of luck. I liked her. She was good. I mean, she played the part really well. What'd you think of her?
I enjoyed her for the most part. She wasn't what I was expecting necessarily. I know from our reviews we had learned that there was going to be a lot of talk about weight and size. And so being inside that person's head was very different for me. So it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just different.
Right.
And I don't think it was as big of a deal as some of the reviews had led on, but we'll definitely talk about that in a bit. But I liked Mrs. Blossom, and I felt sorry for her in that, her family's moving on without her.
Yes.
And she wasn't invited to move with them.
I
So
know.
now she's trying to discover who she is as a 68-year-old woman, widower, and we talked about the lottery ticket in our last episode and would we cash in a ticket that we found, and that's what she did. I thought that would play into this story a whole lot more.
Same.
Because you had brought it up at the end. You're like, this is suspicious. Somebody put that ticket in her path and wanted her to win the money, but it was completely unrelated to anything. Nothing.
It had nothing to... I was like... Why was that such a big, hook, line, and sinker in the description, the blurb? To me, it was and then she goes and tries to find the person to, such a good, wholesome old lady that's let me try to see if the person that won it, but,
Yeah, I felt like that was a side plot that wasn't necessary.
Not at all. No.
I mean, you could have just said that she actually did play the lottery and she won. And that would have been fine, too.
Yeah, I think that kind of was unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting because she is just now coming into money. So we do learn, she meets other people who have had money for a long time. Yes. And so for her, it is a very different change of lifestyle. And I liked that when she was on this trip, she was like, I'm not going to even think about money. I'm not going to ask how expensive something is. That's huge. I come from a very frugal family.
Yeah,
and so
same.
I am pinching every penny. And there are times where you're on a trip and you're like, no, I'm going to enjoy myself. Like, I'm going to get the dinner no matter if it's the most expensive thing on the menu or the least. And I was like, go, Muriel. Like, that's awesome, because I'm not like that all the time. And so that is something that I strive for, because I think we put a little too much emphasis on how much things cost and what that'll do to the bank account, or how much that'll make this trip cost. And taking that out of the picture, like, really relieved some of that stress for her. So, yes, I understand that her having a windfall of $8 million or whatever it was is a big deal, and that is life-changing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the only thing that I liked about it, okay, she fell into this by chance. And so it was like, I liked that. And then I saw a lot of, like, one thing I did like about, like, her insecurities, for a while I was thinking, like, is she really that dumb in some of the places? Like, okay, is she really that dumb? That nobody's that dumb to take I mean, we'll get into it, but taking a gummy from a stranger, that was like, come on. But then I think about her insecurities. And then to me, I was like, okay, I can see why those would go hand in hand. And why maybe she's trying to trust some more.
Yeah.
Even though I think that was still stupid. But
I mean, that whole situation, we can get into that. Alan, I mean, she's finally going on this trip, which, again, I think we had thought that the trip was part of the lottery winnings, and it was not. It was just, she was taking herself out of the country on an exotic adventure.
Yep.
And this is like something she promised herself she would do, taking her best friend along for the ride, which is always a great time. But she meets this man on the plane, well, in the airport, and he's like helping her through.
She gets bumped up to first class.
Right.
I didn't even know Southwest. Do they have first class? I don't even. I was like, oh, okay.
That's funny.
Because I was like, oh, okay. So she's getting bumped up to first class. So this whole by chance thing that she's there like 3 hours early. Mind you, I'm an early person, so I understand it. But
getting to the airport, I'm stressed. So I'm going to get there early and sit and wait. I hate it, but I have to.
Oh, same, because you never know.
Right.
Yes.
I'm not getting into like bumper to bumper traffic on the way to the airport. Mm-mm.
No. So she gets there. She meets Alan at the counter. So as she's checking in, and then he is like, put her next to me. I'll take care of her. And then so they go to the business lounge, and then they're just sitting there and talking and getting to know one another. And they get on the plane. She's right next to him. And then I'm like, okay, so you trust this guy that you've known, what, a couple hours?
Yeah.
Not even, you don't even know this person. And so he's like, oh, you look like you could use some sleep. So he's telling her, like, don't get a drink, don't eat the food, like telling her what to do. Ugh. And then he gives her, like, oh, you could use some melatonin.
Yeah. Everything about him just seemed so strange to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was very forced. And then later on, it's kind of revealed that Alan wasn't actually going to use her. Like, he ended up using her to carry the, not rubies, what were they?
Oh, your
sapphires.
Yeah,
whatever.
The salmon.
Whatever the gems were at the very end.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't his intent. It was just that he saw the other guy on the plane. And so he realized he had to come up with a different method. Mm-hmm. And so that's when he, like, got Mrs. Blossom entangled into his web. Mm-hmm. So if he wasn't actually planning on using her, it just felt so strange. All the things that he was doing.
Yes.
And, like, it was just bizarre. I mean, I realized, like, this is an older woman and she hasn't dated in a long time.
Sure.
And so this was, like, a new sensation for her. But the fact that he, like, set her clock or, like, reset her watch on her bracelet.
Which came back to be like, come on, she could have made her plain. So that's when I knew, yeah, okay, he is something. I literally, like, my first notes are like, Alan is suspicious.
Right. Very suspicious. Uh-huh. I mean, the fact that they end up spending the day together and he tucks her into bed and waits for her to fall asleep. No.
Oh, no.
No. I was cringing so hard. Like, what? Never. So you're in your own hotel room and you're going to let this stranger sit at the foot of your bed and wait for you to fall asleep?
Sure, but go back. He basically tells her, don't take an airplane. We're gonna take a train. You don't know this guy. He's telling you basically what you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, Mrs. Blossom, are you not that intelligent? There's no way.
Right. It was just very, very odd.
Yes, very odd. I didn't like it. I just was like,
it felt very forced. And then for there to be like another mysterious man and then another mysterious man. And it was like,
yeah,
I know this lady doesn't get out much, but golly, she's not flaunting that she has money. So it's not that people are like coming after her.
Sure. But
it just was very weird.
It was, but see, this is the thing. This is where I was confused. And I guess I would have to read the Tess Monahan, those books, because she worked for a PI investigator. Like, you're trying to tell me that she wouldn't cue into these clues of, like, these strange men? I don't know. Just seems like a far reach for me. Like, okay, I get it.
I listened to a couple interviews with Laura Lippman, and it seemed like maybe Mrs. Blossom was a little flighty.
Okay.
But that was also coming from that other character's perspective.
Yeah.
And so that's where she was trying to correct it to say that she was actually really smart, whereas in the other books, she came across as kind of a goof.
Okay.
And so I think we still saw some of the goof, because this was ridiculous.
Yes. Because, I mean, even after that, so that was April 1st, where he's like, trust me.
I love that you kept track of the days. I did not take notes for this.
Let me just say, like, the one to the other, it was like 10 days. It was so quick. It was nuts how quick it was. Because then in there, like, she sees things that he does. Like, he had 2 phones. Why did he have 2 phones? And they're constantly pinging, and he's constantly...
well, he explained one was his American phone and one was his Europe phone.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't have believed that. And then April 2nd... April's one day later, after he tucked her in, which is so weird, they kissed, right? So then they're like, I think this is like the same time. Like, I think he tucked her in and they kissed that night. That's why she slept so well, because the one thing she missed was being kissed. And so, I don't know. I thought the whole thing was
the next day he's dead, though.
Yeah. But that was, like the 3rd.
Right.
It's so fast.
She makes it on the train to Paris and is at her new hotel. And, well, she encounters our next weird man.
Danny Johnson, yes. When she noticed him on the train, right?
And he had actually been on the plane as well. And, like, seems suspicious that this person is following you. I never got a good read on Danny. I was always confused by him. Up until the very end. I was like, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy or if you can trust him or not. But when they finally got back to her hotel and they found out that Alan was dead off of a balcony, it's like, okay, well, they had also said that he had a no-smoking apartment or a no-smoking hotel room and that he had been out on his balcony smoking a cigar. So that I was already like, no. That's against the rules. You're not supposed to do that. That was clearly, like, set up. Like, he was pushed. You don't just fly off of a balcony.
Right.
Which I will say, we called this a cozy, and I had to go and Google. I was like, what actually constitutes a cozy murder? So I just want to read this for you.
Please do.
It says, cozy mysteries do not employ any but the mildest profanity. The murders take place off stage, frequently involve relatively bloodless methods such as poisoning and falls from great heights. The wounds that are inflicted on a victim are never dwelt on and are seldom used as clues.
I would not have described cozy in that manner.
But it makes sense.
It does. Okay.
That was... So in the interview I was listening to, Lippman had said that this was the hardest book she's ever written.
And did she explain why?
Yeah, because it's so hard to stick to the cozy rules.
Oh, yeah.
They're unwritten, but you have to stick to them. She's saying, because she's known for her murder mysteries and, like, real crime. And so writing a cozy crime was very, very hard for her.
Right.
She wanted to do it, but said that it was very hard to not have the profanity and to not have like the gore or like the violence involved and to still have a storyline that you want to follow.
Sure. Especially if all of her other books have had like the murder scenes or the actual like thing happening, like someone goes into the room, you see them pushed, etc. I don't know.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting.
So that's a cozy. So the fact that this guy goes tumbling off a balcony, I was instantly like, all right, well, there's another bad guy.
Yeah.
So Alan wasn't our bad guy. He could have been bad, but, I mean, he was definitely weird.
Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, really what got me that said that Alan was a bad guy, I thought, okay, Alan is a bad guy. And in this, I actually had a lot of thoughts in this. I'm curious to see what you think. Right before he died, the police comes, knocks on the door. They're like, talking to Miss Blossom, do you know Alan? And she was like, well, kind of. And then they come out to say the reason why was his last text was to someone who sent her name, photo, and hotel location. And then, the quote was, she has your eyes. And I thought, she has your eyes. I was like, okay, is this like a long lost child? That was like my first thought.
Right. Was it she has your eyes or your mother's eyes?
Maybe your mother's eyes. I don't remember. I just remember having your eyes. Okay, I was not thinking of eyes of this statue. That's definitely not what I was thinking. I was thinking I think you're right, mother's eyes, because that makes more sense. And so then I'm like, family? That's all I could think immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
So strange. I mean, very cryptic. I mean, a great clue considering.
Correct.
And I did question that actually when we do finally see the statue. Like, it did click in my mind that it said that there were two little divots where the eyes should have been.
Oh, yeah. See, look at you.
And I was like, oh, well, we're missing some jewels then. And I was like, oh, okay. That makes a little more sense. But definitely would never have picked up on that at the very beginning of the book.
No.
But very creepy to have sent that text to somebody. So now we know there's another bad guy.
Right. And so that's when I was like, oh, yep, Alan is a part of this. Danny's weird. There's something weird about Danny. Didn't really like him. And then her continuing to run into the same people was also like, all right, we're in Paris, right? And now we're taking a train to go on this river cruise. And I was like, wow. And then she gets on the river cruise, and then Danny's there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, we knew he was going to follow her.
Of course.
But then the people that you meet on the river cruise, and like, my question is, we find out in the end that Pat is a bad person. Did you like that friendship or that interaction?
I did. I didn't suspect Pat, actually. Pat wasn't one that I suspected. I think I was so in my mind thinking about Alan and Danny. I actually had a suspicion for some reason of her friend, was Eleanor. Like thinking like, oh, okay, maybe she's to play into this somehow. And I think I was just so like confused. I'm like, where am I reaching? What am I looking for? What am I missing?
I felt like the interactions with Pat were too nice or, again, just like too coincidental. I don't know. Like, I was just like, there's got to be, I don't know, this lady she seems like another old lady who's invisible. And so I was like, I got my eye on you. And the fact that she was insisting on coming to her room for that balcony drink or whatever. And I was like, okay, now, like, people are trying to get into her room. And, like, we're not suspecting this old lady because she's rich and old. So I suspected her mildly.
Yeah.
I was still very confused as to where all of these people were coming together. I mean, everybody was bad. Except for, I feel like I actually questioned this in the end. It's like, was the guy that she actually does end up with, he wasn't a bad guy, right?
Which one?
Was it Paul?
Oh, yeah. No, he wasn't.
Is that the right name?
I think yes,
that's the person that she was texting?
Because he was the one that left via ambulance.
Right.
Right? And then he was the one that she ended up emailing him.
Yeah.
And that's how they connected. Yeah, he was not connected.
Right, but he definitely seemed like he was.
Of course.
It was super suspicious.
Yes. And then when he just was like gone and they took someone via ambulance and she didn't actually know who, I was like, that guy looks suspicious.
Right. I thought that person was dead, and
Right. Yes, of course.
That they were just trying to, like, keep it hush-hush so the people on the cruise wouldn't be upset. But, yeah, I thought he was dead. So the fact that he was alive and a decent person, super surprised. Very surprised by.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
What about her friend? So you said Eleanor was kind of suspicious to you?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like there had to be somebody in her, like, avenue. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, Alan, who would have known that she was going on this trip? Was her friend a part of this that brought Alan into this and then Danny into this? Like, I thought there had to be like an inside job type of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was thinking it was there versus by chance of Alan being like, I have no choice. I've got to find somebody and I've got to use her. So I thought there might have been like a friend that had to kind of wiggle her way in instead of her friend just being a friend to go on this trip with her.
Right. It ended up being a beautiful trip. I was kind of annoyed with her at being the, like, teenage girl and just wanting to find her, like, boat romance.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, she falls for Dummy and, like, almost gets killed by him in the end. And, I mean, what did you think about that romance, Marco and Eleanor?
Eleanor. I thought Eleanor. Come on, Eleanor. I mean, I guess because she's probably the same age as her. I mean, she probably just thought, I just want that love. One chance, not promised tomorrow. And I'm like, Marco does not look like a great guy. Why are you following for him? I mean, sure, it was good for her for the moment, but yuck.
Right. It just felt like one of those things, like when you are invited on a trip with somebody, you don't make them become the third wheel.
Oh, she definitely was the third wheel.
Right. And that is awful. You don't do that, even if it is like the love of your life. You go and you have a spa day with your friend and like you go and see the sights together and like you can flirt, but golly, come on.
I mean, have a spa day with her friend. She thought her friend sent her for the day to the spa. I mean, hello. What a good friend. I would have thought, I owe you a whole lot of fun because you just sent me to the spa for a whole day all by myself, which ended up being Danny, right? And so, I mean, I don't know. That's such a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
I was disappointed in Eleanor and just like the kind of friend that she was on a trip like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing and somebody else is paying for it, but...
Someone else is paying for it. I'm going to be like, let's go, girl. Where are we going? You're making all the plans. I'm just here for the ride.
Yes. So I was upset that was taking place, and the relationship between Marco and Pat was weird. Mm-hmm. I mean, because somebody came up and asked about, like, her and her boyfriend, and she was like, oh, no, like, that's not her boyfriend. It's her brother. And I was like, is it a son? Like, I was just so confused. But even Mrs. Blossom had said something about the other rooms that people were staying in were so much smaller, and she wouldn't want to share them with anyone. And I was like, oh, yeah, so whatever those two have going on, like, you're in this teeny little room together. If that's a brother and a sister, like, I don't know.
I mean, have you ever been on a cruise?
I have.
Yeah, those rooms, like, if you go to the interior, they're very tight.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't go for the room.
No, you go for the swimming pools and the lounges and the fun activities.
Correct, yes. So they're not there to hang out. So you're right. Super tight quarters. So there was something more than just friends hanging out.
Yeah.
I guess I overlooked that so quickly because she was so conscious of her weight, didn't want to be squeezed in tight places. Yeah. So I didn't really look too much into it, but now that you're bringing it up, that's a good point.
So the plot of this is unraveling, and we're just trying to figure out. I almost questioned, like, if this little statue existed at all. They had said it's even smaller than you think. Like, it's a pretty small statue. It's a pretty small statue. It's smaller than you think. I wondered if it was a charm, like, that he had put on her bracelet when he was, like, putting or fixing her watch or fixing the clock. Because I was like, how big is it? Like, is it just that size and now it's blending in with the other charms that she already has? Because, like, that would be a really small one, but that would be a surprise.
Yep.
But no, it wasn't. I was wrong.
I I mean, really, they did emphasize a lot on how small it was. I liked the whole entanglement of Danny, though, when they opened his safe and they found the diamond ring and the statue. What did you think when they found it? Did you think, oh, that was too easy? Or did it make you go, Danny did something?
Danny looked like he had pure confusion on his face.
Yeah.
And so I believed that he was confused in that moment. It didn't seem forced. So it seemed planted. The Swiss francs didn't really make sense to me. And I definitely did not realize that the other lady was from Switzerland. So that wasn't going to add up in my brain at all. So no. I was just more confused that he was confused. And I was like, aren't you supposed to be in control of this situation? What is happening? Everybody's just running around with their heads cut off. Like, nobody knows what's going on. And I think Mrs. Blossom says this at the end to Danny, like, had you just told me up front, none of this would have happened. Like,
I would have helped you.
Right.
Yes.
So infuriating sometimes that, like, you have to play the game to get to the outcome when that was not needed at all. We could have saved a lot of heartbreak and the potential death.
Yeah, I know. I felt like there was so much that could have been avoided. And that's why I say, like, Mrs. Blossom could have been so much smarter. But also, Danny could have, too. Like,
yes. Well, and that's where I was still at the end confused. I was like, wait, so he was an FBI agent, but he was on leave because his dad was a bad guy? And I was just trying to, like...
So many things. This is why I told you I was so confused. I was like, what? Who? Where?
Yeah.
I walked away from this book feeling more like, all right, so who did it? Who was that? Okay, Pat and Marco. All right, so they burned down, like, it was Marco who basically was expensive and needed all these things, and Pat and Marco devised this plan, and I was like...
Well, and Pat had a second identity, and so that doesn't help.
No.
When you're confused about characters. Did you at all pick up on the fact that Pat Seaman was whatever other name that was Patience...
Absolutely not.
Patience Sailor. Patience Sailor was Pat Seaman. No.
No. I'm like, what is it? And every time they'd throw in a new character, I'd be like, here we go again. Where, who, what, when, where, why? You know, I tell you all the time, when you throw in a bunch of characters, I start to be like, okay, wait, who is this? I need to, like, pull back and redact to, like, okay, Who is, okay, Mrs.
Which name do I actually need to remember? Yes, okay. Yes. That's how I felt. And that's why I was like, wait, who is bad? Danny? Paul? Marco? Pat? I don't know. Like, what is happening? There's so many different names. Were you surprised when the twist came that Pat was bad?
I mean, I didn't know what at that point. I didn't know what to think.
You were just along for the ride.
The only thing that I really liked at the very end that I felt like, okay, I got it, was when she threw what they thought were the eyes in the river, and then she was really smart and actually threw her earrings, which those earrings were like the sentiment, right, that she had gotten from her husband, and so
the stop cheating on me diamonds.
Which we know how you feel about that. And I mean, I feel the same way, but come on. There's always got to be a hint of that in almost every book.
Yeah.
Like 50% of the books we've read has that. But yeah, so I almost thought, like, get rid of those. That's your, like, here's your, like, you know, little, like, quiet present. But so then when she ended up saying, like, oh, yeah, well, actually, I have them, I was like, wow, all right.
Right. So just so that I have this clear, the gummies,
yes,
the gems were in the gummies, right? That's what had happened.
Which also, I would have, if someone would have given me a thing of gummies that they had already told me that they laced with THC with one of them that they gave to me, I'm not going to lie, I would have thrown that bottle away. I never would have kept it.
Right. But she was not throwing it away because he was still in her room and could have seen them in the trash can, and that would have looked impolite. And that's why he was staying there, like, to try to get them back. But she had, like, put them away. And so that's, like, he was just after the bottle of gummies.
Crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. It was all these things. And then they, like, went into the wrong room and...
And what if she had just thrown them away after Alan was dead?
I don't know.
Like, what was the plan then? Because if they would just be in the trash and then you're still coming after this lady, you're still trying to...
And she's like, I don't even have what you're looking for.
Right.
Because really, she felt that way for so long.
Right.
Like, what is there, like, when they went into the room and they were, like, searching, because they went and got, whose stuff was it they took? Who had the diamond ring they took?
That was Pat.
That was Pat, right. And so even when they went into that room, for what reason did they...
Well, I think that was to frame
Danny. Which, of course...
To say that he had been in there.
But I'm like, that made her more suspicious of, like, okay, who's looking for what? I don't know. I felt like, Mrs. Blossom, you are not... You are smarter than this. I know you are.
Well, right. And she didn't tell her friend any of this.
Right.
Because she wanted to make sure it was a good trip for everyone involved.
Yes.
And didn't want to put any pressure on her. And I was like, no, you got to spill the tea. First day.
Especially when she found that tracker. I mean, when I found a tracker, I wouldn't just, like, leave it on the boat and pretend like nothing happened. No, I'm telling somebody.
Right. You need to warn your friend
At
well
least,
that, like, something is going down.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I said I liked her, but I had a little pause.
Right. So it wasn't just Mrs. Blossom telling Danny, you should have told me up front. She should have said something up front to Eleanor, because Eleanor would not have been falling head over heels for this other dude and, like, would have been helping with the mystery and, like...
I don't know. It just kind of, I felt like there was so much entanglement.
Okay, so the scene at the very end when Pat Seaman bursts in with her champagne and says, we're having that drink on the balcony. Did you see that going south? Because as soon as she said the other two walked in and Eleanor was drunk or drugged, and I was like, oh, there's not enough room for all of these people, and balconies are definitely a thing. Somebody's going overboard.
Correct.
This
yes.
is bad.
Yes.
So the fact that she was able to kind of work her way out of that situation, like, I need to go back into the bathroom. That's where the gems are. And, like...
Right. That was really smart.
Pulling the Uno reverse card and shoving somebody else overboard. That was fun.
Yeah, it was really smart of her, too. I mean, I saw when they all came, like, okay, something bad is going to happen. I mean, but I didn't expect her to be smart.
Right, because she hadn't been smart the entire time.
I thought, oh, she's going overboard. I don't know. It's her turn to die.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that didn't... It went a whole lot better than I envisioned it. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that now you've got Pat trying to come up with her cover story...
Yeah.
Like, that was funny. She was, like, testing out different theories on them, and they're like,
no.
No, that's not going to fly. You're totally caught.
Yes. And so I liked that they eventually found out the truth. I mean, not just us as the readers finding out the truth, but actually, like, Mrs. Blossom understanding the truth. And then I really liked the ending where it even goes further that because she had, like, at the beginning, she was trying to figure out who she was, right? So it took a turn that she decided that she was going to keep going on adventures. She was going to go back and work for Tess Manahan. Yeah, that one. She was going to go work for her. And just travel instead of go live in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you at all feel sorry for Pat when she was kind of telling about how she was perhaps in an abusive relationship with Marco and, like, just needed to have money for him, and, like, this little rich girl...
That got taken advantage of.
Right. This guy is leeching off of her, and she thinks they're happy, but they're clearly not. Like, that was kind of depressing, but it wasn't enough to, like...
sway you.
Make me like her.
I mean, I guess I've never been in a relationship like that.
Yeah.
And things that I've read about how challenging it is when you are in those relationships. I mean, another heavy thing to kind of go on and just say, like... I couldn't envision, like, how you feel, but I've heard people say, like, when you're in it, you feel stuck. And so that is a moment of did feel sorry for Pat, but I'm thinking you would have been so much better off just running away. Because even like she said, his hat was like $2,000.
Yeah.
Just for like a ball cap, and she was trying to go through those explanations, and I'm like, man, you could have done better.
Right.
And then burning it down.
Yeah. She did have an interesting quote that I think is right around there. It said, "Money is the root of everything, not evil, as the saying goes, everything. It's all we have, the final religion, the only scorecard that matters. Everyone wants it, everyone needs it. There's nothing else like it." And Mrs. Blossom says, "Well, what about love?" And she says, "Love lets everyone down eventually." Which is fascinating because money has such a hold on us.
Yeah, absolutely. More money, more problems.
Right. And I think that is definitely demonstrated here. And so is money the root of everything? We talk about it being kind of the root of our problems. She said the final religion and the only scorecard that matters. That sounds so sad and empty to me.
And which then it makes me turn and go, Marco was like idolized money.
Of course.
And it was not really even about Pat at all. And Pat was just the avenue to which he was able to have money. And so
It was gross.
it is gross, really, when you sit and you think about that. And then because she had, a bruise or something somewhere.
Well, it's because she had the accident. That's why she walked
Fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
And so them being like, that's not okay.
Right.
I mean, it was just an
But
accident.
love lets everyone down.
And so
I don't think so. We're going to set the record straight. Love does not let you down. Love is what lifts you up.
I mean, yes, if you're in a relationship where both of them are selfless, trying to serve one another and lift each other up.
Yeah.
But if you're in this relationship with Pat's in, absolutely it's going to let you down. There's no part of it that is going to lift you up. If you're one-sided, someone does not care about you. They're idolizing just your money. And that's what it sounded like to me with Marco.
Okay, so end of the book. Does Laura Lippman land the plane? Does she dock the ship? I guess would be the right.
I mean, again, I felt confused in so many parts of it. I liked the way it ended with Mrs. Blossom and finishing out I'm going to have this, sounds like a love life with Paul, or figure out what they had. And then I'm going to kind of just figure out who I am and just see different parts of the world. I liked it. Sure. I liked that we did figure out who it was, who done it, right? I like that we finally did figure it out. But again, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite ending. What about
was
you?
A little murky. And I feel like you were even I hope it picks up some. And I was like, it does. There's a whole lot. Everything's being thrown into the blender in the last second. And so that was where it was a little hard to swallow at the end because it was so much happening.
Yes.
But we needed that.
Yes.
So I did like how everything kind of settled at the very end, but it was kind of a hectic throwing
I feel
stuff
like
at
it
the
could
walls.
have. There was parts in the middle that I just felt like were drawn out for no reason, but yet the action I felt like was rushed. I think that's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
So there was parts that they were drawing out so much. So even days. I think one of the chapters was or one of the days was so long that didn't need to be, where she could have drawn out more and pulled more of that ending to get more explanation of what's going on. But
my guess is that has to do with the cozy vibes.
Sure.
And that, you can't actually have the detailed, gruesome or violence.
Yeah.
And so she was building up more of the surrounding trip.
Right.
We haven't talked about it yet, but the scenery was actually beautiful.
Yes.
We actually got to see some of London. We got to see Paris. We got to see all these little tourist sites that they stopped at. And that was awesome.
Yes.
We were
I like
joking
that.
about how we read the Paris Apartment and we didn't see a single piece of Paris in that entire book at all.
No.
You were in a locked room the entire book, and so it just happened to be titled Paris.
Yeah, I know. You were in this little condominium.
Right.
Sure. But yeah, so I love that it's says vacation. It actually does take you on a vacation.
Yeah.
And so I do like that she actually does tie in the whole vacation aspect. And so getting on the airplane, getting on the train, going to Paris, going through London, and they even mentioned the different sites. And so I liked that.
Yeah, and she had her itinerary and everything was planned down to the minute and how she was going to get there, and she had done her research. And so I love that as an older lady embarking on her first trip abroad, that she was prepared. She had her crossbody. Like, she wasn't going to get pickpocketed. Like, she was ready. What did you think? I mean, I think this is where a lot of the fat talk came up, was on the sightseeing, because they were like, if you can't endure a lot of stairs, like, turn around now, turn around now, turn around
when
now.
They made fun of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad for her. I felt like, and really, there's a lot of it. And I mean, I've lived a lot of my life with a lot of vanity. Like, my family love them, but there's a lot of vanity in there. And so I constantly am fighting that, like, want to be more beautiful or thinner, or, and then we lived in the world of, like, right now our society tells you to be thin, that makes you, like, a better life. Mm-hmm. And so, mind you, I care about health, and a lot of that is about diet and exercise, but it's about a lifestyle. It's not about trying to not be big. And so I can see where some people might have been bothered by it, but to me, it was just a matter of who she was. And so the fact that she was so put down for dumb things, like sitting in the middle of, I mean, yes, I couldn't imagine sitting in the middle seat in an airplane, how uncomfortable that might be for not just you, but she also was considerate and thinking of other people. When lady turned around and, like, made fun of her, I thought, that is so sad. Like, and then she's, like, determined, like, I'm going to do this.
Right. Well, and that was even on the day that she's walking around town with Danny. He was like, well, yeah, we walked 5 miles. Like, I wouldn't put it past you. Like, you're a force. And Mrs. Blossom talked about how she went walking every day, and she was very active for her size. I don't know if it ever said how much she weighed. I don't think so. So I wasn't really sure what to be picturing. But I did find that perspective fascinating. I did feel like it was maybe overdone. Like, it just kept coming up and kept coming up. But as somebody, I mean, we talked about it, we're both into health and fitness and living healthy, active lifestyles. I have never been in that situation. And so I don't know what is actually going on inside somebody's head who is larger, who does have to face down those stairs and those snide... I just, it made me feel bad and curious.
Right.
Maybe, and that's, I think, what she was hoping to do. A lot of the reviews talked about how, like, she had the sensitivity readers, and she had multiple people, like, looking over this book to make sure that it was good or conveyed the message that she wanted. And I don't know that it completely hit the mark for me.
Sure. Yeah.
At the end, like, she finally does, like, confront her friend, because Eleanor was like, I'm going to have to eat a salad after this, or I'm going to have to diet when we get home.
Yep.
And she was like, all right, that's it. Like, you're saying that what we're eating right now is bad, and that means that I'm bad if I don't go home and diet.
Sure.
And, like, I thought that when she kind of, like, felt the freedom to unload.
Like, her empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was a fun moment, but then it was also like, yeah, but should you have put that burden on your friend? I don't know. I was torn the whole time. I wasn't sure if it was the right thing to be saying or the wrong thing to be saying or thinking.
Right.
But I think, again, a book that makes you think about it is starting the conversation.
Right. And I think I didn't listen to any, and maybe when you were listening to some of her talks, I think what Laura Lippman, what I kind of felt and took away was she was trying to get a cozy mystery, but bringing in other aspects of, like you said, start the conversation. Like, okay, I'm trying to get another perspective of not just that, like, ageism, body shaming, other prejudices that there are in this world, right? And so I feel like she was trying to, like, pull into those stereotypes that the society we live in really frowns upon. And so and that's kind of why I've enjoyed some of the older books that we've read, right? We've had some really interesting characters that have been older, that have been elderly. And so I love that they're starting to really pull into those different aspects in those areas. And so I think Laura Lippman, her attempt at it was good, but I felt like there was some of it that I'm like, well, it was not necessary.
Yeah. Let's see. There was one thing at the very end. I mean, she had talked about it throughout the entire book, but her little fortune cookie charm.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't she get it open?
I don't know.
Is it?
Well, Danny opened it,
well,
and
I know
Danny read it, but she didn't.
Well, she didn't want to. What? I can't remember the reason.
It was her late husband's last words to her.
Okay. She doesn't know what his last words. She never looked at it.
Like, he had given her that charm, and she had never opened it, and then he died, and she decided, like, that's the last thing that he's ever written me. Like, I'm not ready to read it yet. I'm not ready to read it yet. So now she's BFFs with Danny and said, Danny, you read it. And just the look on his face was all that she needed to know.
I want to know.
I want to know what was on it.
Yes.
Like, please.
We never got clarity.
Book 2. I need to know what was on the fortune cookie.
Like the first page.
Yeah. Like, I'm also just trying to picture how
It's
there's a piece of paper.
It's got to be so teeny tiny, right?
Well, that was also where I was like, is a gem hiding in this stinking fortune cookie that she's refusing to open up? Like,
Good point.
I'm telling you, the charm bracelet really left a mark.
Well, and if this little character could be like an inch big, the eyeballs are going to be tiny too.
Right.
Right. It was a lot in my thoughts, it was a lot bigger than what they made it out to be.
I think the actual thing was like 6 inches, maybe. I don't know.
That's still bigger than what I thought it was. Because they kept saying how small it was and how small it was. And I'm thinking 6 inches of a little statue. You couldn't miss that in your luggage.
Right.
And then when they emptied her bottles of her stuff, I'm thinking, why would they do that? And I'm guessing it was to find the gems, but still, I'm like, what?
Right. I was confused by that, too.
Yes.
Until you realize that they're looking for just 2 little stones. Anything else that stands out to you? Feel like...
All right, so what did you think of the cover? What did you like about the cover? How did your takeaway, did it relate to the book? What did you think?
I enjoy the cover. I still think, when I look at this, I am picturing a younger person on a vacation.
Yeah.
I'm also not very familiar with river cruises, so maybe that is just like an old-timey old person thing. That could be where I went wrong, but I think the cover is cute.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it that I would, like, put the book down.
Sure, it's attractive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an attractive, and then it has a little river boat. I mean...
The person splashing into the water, like, that's a nice little foreshadow.
Sure, that or the gems, either one. What they thought were the gems would end up being the diamonds. Mm-hmm. But either way, yeah, I thought it was attractive. Nothing exciting, but a good cover.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you ready for a review, or do you have more questions you want to ask?
I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. I feel like I keep making you go first, so...
I don't. The only thing that I think I didn't talk about that I had noted on here, did anything, and I think this is why I really thought Danny was a bad guy, when Tess had texted, call me, Danny is not a PI.
Yeah.
I thought, why did she not call her?
Well, right, but it was because she thought she already knew the answer.
Sure, but still...
you still need to go and verify.
Yeah, she's obviously smarter than you are.
Well, and if you had already decided that he wasn't a PI, then, like, you probably wanted her answer because it sounded like Tess knew more than...
Correct, and she obviously had more information.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so I'm curious, yes. I feel like I do rate usually before you. So tell me, what would you rate this book?
So I enjoyed this book mostly because I haven't been on a vacation in a really long time, or like outside of the country. And so it was a nice little trip down memory lane. I called this book meandering and scenic. And so I think we were meandering down the river. The plot of this story kind of meandered. I was a little confused, and then the river would kind of take a turn. And I was like, okay, maybe we're coming back around the bend. It's going to make some sense. So in that regard, I enjoyed it, and I liked the sightseeing that we were able to do. I know Laura Lippman said she actually went on a river cruise and like went and visited these places so that she could write about them with good details. And so that was very helpful. I did get a little lost in all of the characters and the things going on, but like I said, with Thursday Murder Club, I still loved that book, even though I couldn't tell you what actually happened because I loved the characters.
Yes.
And in this book, I didn't really have that. I didn't love the characters. They were almost all bad. I enjoyed Mrs. Blossom, but she was still like a different kind of character for me. So I didn't love her. And so I think for that reason, my rating for this one is more like a 3.3. It's a cozy mystery. It's enjoyable. Like it's not bad at all, but it's not one that I would gush about or like that I would highly recommend to anyone. I would say if you're going on a trip or you're going to have a lazy weekend or something, like you could grab this book for sure. It's enjoyable. I love that along with the cozy murders, you don't have the profanity. You're not having like the heavy romance. It's nothing like that. It's just a quick little whodunit and a cute little story along the way.
Yeah. I would agree with all that you said. Plus so much more. So for me, like I said to you, I enjoyed the adventure. There was a lot of adventure. I did actually enjoy some of her insecurities, and I'm pulling those out. Even, like I said in my 3 words, the entanglement. There was a lot of entanglement of who did this and where and what. But I got so confused of who, what, when, where that I was like, okay, this book that was enjoyable is now no longer enjoyable because I got to figure out what it was. So when I have to go back and redo something, it takes away from the ending of, because I already know what's going to happen. I already know how it's going to unfold, except for I'm confused of like which person is where. I'm like, wait, so that's Margot, that's Pat. Okay, there's Mrs. Blossom. And like I said, I did like Mrs. Blossom, although I didn't like that she seemed so ditzy. I mean, lack for a better term. Like in some ways, I'm like, she trusted in a way of somebody she didn't know several times over. She did things that I just thought that no 68-year-old woman that's lived a life, especially working for a PI would ever do that. And so that wasn't very exciting for me. Like you said, it's a good read. It's a quick read. There is no gore. There is no spice. There is none of that. So it's a good, clean read. And it does. It has murder and it has vacation. And so that's kind of fun. But it fell short to me. I give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I feel you don't have to justify that beyond. Like, it was a decent book. And I think from our TLDR episode, this one had a 3.5.
Right, yes.
Overall. So it's not hitting it out of the park. But if cozy reads are your jam, which super hot right now. Yes. Everybody's going for that. Yeah. So enjoy it.
Yeah.
Have a little trip down the River Seine.
And until then, keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you're so approachable. Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.